Welcome, Deviant Drivers, to another episode of A Drink with a Driver. I'm joined with Junkai again. It's been a while. Shots. Doing shots.
Fuck
Bloody will be proud.
Bathurst. This is how I come back. It's been a month. Yesterday hurt.
Yesterday hurt a lot of people, I think. We'll
Oh,
get
not
into
no
it,
no
but
no, not a lot of people. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm going to interrupt you for all of this. I'm drinking Kazul Reserve. It is a sipping tequila. Um, it's going to hurt, and we're going to shoot it because, as I mentioned, to hell with Bathurst.
okay. I'm not shooting vodka or tequila with you, but
Cheers to Floody.
cheers to Floody.
It really does go down rather well, though. So there's
You're
that.
just saying that.
Yeah, happy to be back, man. It's been a month. I've been in DC, I've been in Baltimore, I've been in Raleigh, I've been in Greensboro, I've been in Charlotte. Yeah, happy to be home. Losing. It's been nuts, but I appreciate everyone filling in for me last time. Because who did you have last time?
Nismo.
Right. We heard all about his spa trip, which I'm super jealous of. Nismo, thanks for filling in for me while I was out.
I think
I
there's a
did
lot of
watch it.
people jealous. That's a trip I think a lot of people
Dude,
want to do.
yeah. Yeah, I was surprised at his comment of the Mustang GTD was one of the best sounding cars out there, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, dude, glad to be back. Hate to be back under these conditions, but nonetheless, I know you have a little chub probably going on. No one needs to know that. I see your flag is erect behind you. Yeah, I see that too. And not only that, but even to bring me back, we have a guest this evening.
We do. We do.
So pop it
We're,
off.
we're joined by a new guest that we have not had on the program before, and that is Saito. Saito, welcome.
Hey y'all,
Good to have you.
What is up?
good to be here. I actually brought you guys something that I think you'll appreciate. I went ahead and got takeout for everybody. Um, so I everybody talks about three ways. So I got y'all some chili cheese conies instead.
Oh,
The
dude.
spaghetti thing is fun, but it's not really my jazz. So I'll put them in the mail, and they should be there in about a
Yeah.
week or so. Still
Yeah.
good.
Awesome.
No, for sure. How do you eat that with a beard? Like, how do you
Um,
look good eating that with a beard?
you don't look good eating it with a beard. You just kind of embrace the chaos and clean up afterwards.
Okay. All right. Is it like, here we go. We're going down this damn Skyline rabbit hole again, and
I,
Dirksy's
I
going to
have
be so
to. I'm
excited.
sorry.
Like, are we talking you have to take a bath or a shower after you eat?
Um, washing your face maybe with like shampoo, just going
Okay.
the whole nine. Not
Okay.
necessarily a shower, but pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
See,
eat it out. I actually usually just do the takeout. It's kind of
I
gross.
see why your beard is naturally that color is probably from the chili.
All the hot sauce and the
Yeah.
chili. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Maybe that's what I need to do to get it away from this white color is just start eating Skyline chili.
there you go.
Hell no, I'm not doing
I,
it.
I don't blame you. It's weird.
Yeah, well, welcome, dude. We appreciate you joining us. You are our newest moderator besides Cam, so we've got to know you a little bit more than what some of you may know, but it's been enjoyable to have you on as a moderator, but then also to get you on here tonight is pretty cool and representing GT4 and get to hear a little bit more of your take on that. Do you have a Sweetwater t-shirt on? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I do. I have a Sweetwater t-shirt.
Check that out. I had no idea.
Yeah, I absolutely love Sweetwater. Georgia's got some like really killer breweries.
Dude,
So I've
yes.
been to the Sweetwater like main campus thing like
Hmm.
several times. So
What's your favorite of theirs?
oh, 420.
Yeah.
And then the I think they call it the Haze edition or whatever. It's where
Yeah.
they make the fish just a skeleton.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah.
is it's awesome.
I love their G13.
I think that's the one I'm talking about. I think that's the
It's a black
420
can though.
G13. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the G13 black can has that weed smell to it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's all IPA. Merck's just standing here just looking at the camera like I have no idea what the hell these guys are talking about. Sweetwater is definitely one of my favorite breweries. They used to have a blue, and I'm going to sound awful when I say this, but they used to have some blueberry ale there. Um, oh crap, I don't remember the name of it, but it was good. Speaking of,
Yeah.
for
That's
tonight's occasion, I
I'm
have a
actually
blueberry beer.
drinking blackberry ale.
Oh, look at us, a bunch of girls.
There
This
you
is
go.
called Tart Popped. It's a
That's
blueberry
funny.
sour. I got it from Trophy Brewing Company in Raleigh. Yes, we're doing tequila and we're doing beer. Cause
Nice.
again,
I didn't think anything of it. Yeah,
dude, check that out.
that's Mad Tree here in Cincinnati.
Yep.
Um I have like their shirt on too.
Dude,
Mad Tree
just
logo.
repping all the
Um
booze. We need to do a
yeah,
bottle
right.
share.
Say it again.
We need to do a bottle share.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Do you
There's a
prefer
lot of breweries here.
IPAs or stouts or porters?
Everything.
Have you ever had Westbrook Mexican cake?
No.
Dude, it's like one of the quintessential spicy stouts that you can get. It's like well sought after. We can get it pretty regular here. Well, it is a seasonal, but we can find it pretty well here. Yeah, we'll get together. This we're going so far
Yeah,
out.
yeah, this is gonna get
Merc
way off
is
track.
like
No, for sure the bottle share. 100%.
but between you, me, and Slug, and anybody else who wants to contribute, that actually we'll turn that into a channel. That'd be badass, actually. I never thought of
100%.
so
There
many
we go.
untapped potentials. What's up?
Well, now that everybody's got their drink. So, Saito, you've been a member for right at a year. Your anniversary was this month, just recently, just in the last week or two. And you've been a member for 1 year. I can't believe a year's gone by already. It's crazy, fast. But I know as tradition has it, we got some questions that we always ask. Junkai's got some, I'm sure some interesting ones to ask you. Uh, so take it away. Let's hear a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so we're gonna dig into Saito here. First off, it I need you to pronounce your full Discord name.
Cytomorphinstein.
Okay. And where did you get that from?
Um, everybody was like 11 once, I guess. I don't know. It's I think it's like a combination of something I heard cool in science class mashed together with reading Frankenstein at the same
Okay.
time.
All right.
And I've had it since the PlayStation like had an online service and it just never went away.
All right.
So, yep.
No, that works. It's comical sometimes and where some of everyone's little names comes from, like Mercury. You think
Yeah.
it's the metal, but it's
Yeah, I
not.
watched
It's
the video. What was that like? It comes from like I don't know, trannies in Bangkok or something. What was it?
something like that Besso posted, but yeah, we've never had to edit this show it ever, and now you may have to. So yeah, why don't you go get a shot glass and come back and
Uh,
join us in a second. We're gonna continue on.
Oh, oh
Once
my goodness.
Saito is composed, we're gonna roll right past that one. Um, Mert, go ahead and mute your mic, please. Thank you.
no, we're good.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's back up for a moment, Saito. How
Mm-hmm.
long you been playing GT?
Um, I joined the league a week after buying Gran Turismo, and it was the first Gran Turismo game I've had since I have a hard time remembering, but I want to say Gran Turismo 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always really enjoyed racing games. We got Gran Turismo in combination with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, and we had this like old school one on PlayStation 1 called Ray Tracers, just like kind of like like death race sort of deal, you know.
Yeah.
So like Twisted Metal, but a little bit more race oriented. Always played Mario Kart, like just like the general vibe of a racing game. And when my parents got me Gran Turismo, it was because I was getting, you know, into it. And like I had a wheel and everything. It sat like under my lap and like my like thighs held it down or whatever.
Mm.
And you know, the PlayStation got played by the whole family, including my father. And I was in there doing license tests and getting something out of it. And everybody else hated it and didn't want to play with it. And we went back to Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. And I didn't touch Gran Turismo until I got a PlayStation 5 for Father's Day. And I was like, I want a racing game again. Like I want a real one. I'm gonna grab Gran Turismo. It looks good.
Yeah.
So
Forgotten
No,
about
that's
that game.
awesome. So
Twisted
how
Metal.
did you, where did the invite come from for you?
I went into sport mode and like just got, you know, treated like a volleyball.
Yeah.
And after like the fifth or sixth time, I ended up like Googling, I can't remember how, but I ended up Googling along the lines of like, why does Gran Turismo Online suck? And it led me to Reddit. And there just happened to be a post that was like, hey, we've got a league and leagues work a lot better. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see how that does. Yeah, I'll join. Fair.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah,
That's one
yay,
way to
Reddit.
do it. So as far as driving wise, what are you racing on? You using controller, wheel? What do you got going on?
So I switched right before the beginning of last season to a wheel, and I'm on a G29.
Okay.
That Chaotica was kind enough to pass my direction.
Was it really? I had no clue.
Yeah, it's Chaotica's old wheel.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Zen's got my old wheel,
Yep.
right? So, and then
Glovis has
Glovis
some money.
has Cowhow's old wheel.
Mhm.
So it's cool how that works. Did he ship it to you, or did you guys meet up, or what?
Yeah, no. We were talking in like the Team Nissan chat toward the end of the season, and I forget how it came up, but I basically went off on like, no, I really like this. I'm addicted. I want to be on a wheel as soon as I can be. I don't really have, you know, like a few $100 to swing, but like
Mhm.
it's coming. And he was like, well, if you pay me to ship it, I'll just send you mine. Like, okay, done. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Hell yeah. That's a baller
picked
move.
it up right before Christmas, and the first race I did on it was the Christmas multi class.
What class were you in? I don't remember.
I was the GR3 Mazda RX Vision.
Okay. All right. Cool. Damn. That's cool how all that works though.
Which
Like
one were you
everyone
in,
has these
Junkai?
little secret things. I actually met, I don't think I have told anybody, but me and Chaotica met up for lunch while I was in DC. So I got to meet him face to face. We shared some Mexican food. He met my wife and son, and we hung out for a little over an hour, but it's just cool putting the face with the sound that I hear on a regular basis, and you know, and this, and nothing ever changed too. Like he corrects me in Discord and he corrected me in real life. So it was cool to
Nice.
really see all that in person.
Yeah,
It was good though.
I had an in-person meetup with Matt too right before he left
Yeah.
Ohio State. And it's like it's really cool. It's like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Your favorite and least favorite racetrack?
Favorite is Suzuka.
Really? Okay.
Bar none. Yeah. I'm really fascinated with like the engineering that went into making sure the tire wear is even. That's
Hmm.
really cool. And then it it's got like a whole like mythology like around it where like, you know, it's like associated with Japanese forest spirits and stuff. Like it's just when you dig into it, it's one of the weirdest tracks. And then it's fun to drive. So
Yeah.
I think it might be like the first one I got onto when I like when I could create a lobby. I went in and made one for Suzuka and then brought Sully into it. And we did stupid stuff like torrential downpours at night and things like that. So
That sounds
um,
about right. It's an appropriate track for that. Hell no.
it's
Well,
so dark, but it's lit in real life. I don't understand. Um,
we've had several races at Suzuka. I know we had the GT2 when we did several years ago that was in the rain.
It was.
And then we had it was on the GT3 schedule. Was it last season? I think it was.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, remember you knocked me off the track. We were in the Beamers.
That's right.
I was in that race, and I had like the only qualifying that was worth anything, and immediately got reset at turn one. So that
Oh,
was fun.
yeah, that
So
sucks. I think Tex lost his signal or internet or something like that. Somebody lost their internet during that race too, because I remember them wall riding. I was like, "What the hell was that?" Yeah.
shoot. Oh, that wasn't Suzuka that happened to me. That was Nuremberg. Anyway,
Oh, all good. What's your least favorite track?
um, anything that's an oval, Daytona bores the crap out of me. Stage X is awful. I feel like that's an easy answer though. So like Bathurst is also awful.
I
How
would
convenient.
so
Yeah,
agree with you.
I don't
God, I would
like
agree.
Bathurst.
Yeah, gotta love Bathurst. We'll come back to that. We're gonna expand on that whole question. You mentioned Sully,
Yeah,
and it sounds like you know Sully outside of GT7. Is that correct?
yeah. I've known Sully since 2002.
Okay.
So yeah, we were in each other's weddings. I got married in a courthouse, so like he was in my wedding about as much as you can be for that. He was there in the
Right.
room. I gave a horrible best man speech at his. It was pretty awesome. Not drunk either, so have no excuse. Yeah, when I moved down to Georgia from Cincinnati. He was like I was like a little nerdy kid and didn't really get along with anybody. And I went to the bus stop and opened up a book, and the dude next to me was also reading a book. And it just kind of went from there. It was like, hey, you live down the road from me, and you look like you don't like to talk to people either.
So let's talk.
Right. Uh,
Oh, that's cool. So you recruited him into the league?
yeah, I made him get the game with me like that night. Like I called him up and I
Hmm.
was like, I'm sick of COD, dude. I'm sick of shooting people. Like I want to get a race. Let's get a racing game. Because we live very far apart from each other, you know. So PlayStation is how we hang out.
Yeah.
And he, begrudgingly went with it. And then I joined the league and then basically spent like I think the next 2-3 months bullying him into doing it. And he was like, well, I want to finish all the one player content. I was like, you don't have to. I stopped paying attention. Like, do the thing, man. Just come on. So,
It's such a similar story, right, Mark?
It is. It is. That's exactly just about how it was for us. We were just tired of COD. Same thing.
Mhm.
I'd had Gran Turismo. I don't think you had never had it before, Junkai, did you?
No,
Yeah.
exactly the same way Saito describes it is you bullied me into buying it, and I was
Mhm.
making fun of you for making strategies for some invisible fake race.
Mhm.
and
And
then
here,
you
here
made
we
zero,
are.
right?
So yeah, Hook, I'm 2 feet in on most things. So once I got the itch, I was like, oh, we can do a Discord, we can do this, we can do that, and we can do a
Nice.
podcast. And yeah, so everything works out. But we wouldn't have met you had we not done it. So I mean, hey, there we go.
There you go.
Um, so Sully, we'll get Sully on here at some point because then we're going to hear stories back and forth and all that. I think that'll be good content. Um,
I'm gonna have to make him sign something, get a lawyer. There's a few things like
yeah, I
we need
understood,
to talk about.
understood. I'm sure he'd play that just right, but we'll see. All right, so again, like most of our guests that we have on here, our favorite question of, and it may be Sully, but who would you punt off the track?
um, I got to throw it in where I can. Sully's not worth punting.
No.
Um,
Shots fired.
Yeah.
there
Good
you
luck
go,
with
Sully.
getting that waiver signed.
um, no, I had to give this one a lot of thought. And so ever since the GR4 GR3 format, I feel like I've been right next to Anatol. Like, and I didn't have like a really great season last season, but the races that I like felt well enough in to like actually like kind of perform a little bit, I ended up being right next to Anatol. And every now and then he'll like frustrate the hell out of me on the track where I'm just like, I can't get by him. He's not doing anything. I just can't make it happen. And it would be nice one time to just pretend he's Sophie and just hit him and just go. So I think it would be very cathartic. So Anatol,
I
for sure.
think I think that's Anatol's first check mark for that question. I don't think anyone's ever called Anatol out for that. So I respect you for it. Um, I am interested in hearing Anatol's rebuttal once this drops. That is for sure.
Bro, like I want to hit Saito, but for a lot of reasons.
Right,
So,
exactly.
and now add one.
Yep, 100%, man. Well, cool, dude. It's again, it's a pleasure to meet you, to get to know you a little bit better. And we again thank you for being a part of the Discord and the league. It's been great to have you. And again, like I said, just crazy that it's been a year already. July 5th. Yeah, that's nuts. So
Yeah, for
appreciate
real.
it.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
let's get into what we call. I'm about to do another shot. We start talking about this. Let's get into Bathurst.
So yes, so GT3 will start there with Bathurst. And we'll just kind of go through and talk, I guess, about everybody's experience, because I'm sure there's no shortage of just total misery here that occurred that last weekend. So uh how did you guys let's just
Merc, well,
ask
just stop. Just stop. How the hell did you get to the end on the fuel that you had?
wouldn't you like to know?
Well, that's
So
why I'm asking. Everybody wants to know. Like, how the hell did you do it?
okay, so when we and I've said this before in the season that the math doesn't seem to work out quite right for us or me. And so when I was doing the calculations with Dirksey, I was like, there's no way we're gonna make this a two stopper. It's gonna have to be a three. And we were like, we can get 8 laps, comfortably. Nine is really pushing it. And as we made the first run, we stopped a little bit. Well, the first stop was during the safety car, which was perfect. It was right as we were planning and hoping. And then our second stop, as we were driving, it was like, okay, I got like +1, maybe +2, Jerksy. And he's like, yeah, same. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So we kept going. And then as we get to the end, I'm like, I really need to make that extra stop. But I was looking at the gas and I was looking at the time and I was trying to do math in my head. And that's not good when you're trying to drive and concentrate. And I was like, we're really close to making it to make it to the very end. And called out a couple more times to Dirksey, and he had more fuel than I did. And I was like, okay, he's definitely got enough to make it. I might have enough to make it. And I just kind of said, okay. And we got down to the last couple laps. And I was like, mathematically, this checks out. I was like,
Yeah.
I've said that about 4 times and it didn't check out. But I was like, I'm going for it. And I was fuel saving a little bit, short shifting. I didn't use the fuel map, change that or anything. And we made it. And I finished with .2 in the tank. So I
Well,
honestly don't know how I did it.
kudos.
Thank you.
Ballsy move.
Right.
It
Right.
finally worked.
Yeah, I know. So like today, I'm working really hyper focused on what I'm working on. And all I'm thinking about is strategy wise, is there anything else I could have done to make a similar strat like you did? And it doesn't work. It doesn't work for Lambo.
There wasn't a
Like,
strat. That's the thing.
well, no, I get that. I'm just saying with the data I collected in the race yesterday and what fuel I went through, there's no way I could replicate what you did yesterday with the Lambo, and it was driving me nuts today. And I think I finished 38 seconds behind you or some bullshit. Yeah, it was bullshit. Um, God. So what? I mean, tire wise, did you start on? Well, you ran softs the whole time.
Solved the whole time. And I had tire left when I came in.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, I had
that's
tires. It was no big deal.
wow.
no 5
That's
laps on softs and like 8 on fuel, like pulling in on fumes. Was Team Lambo strat. So I mean, most of the race I was on mediums. I started on mediums because softs wouldn't get me to 8 for safety car. I wanted to pit on safety car, um, just to kind of lengthen the back end stints. I knew I was going to have to pit twice anyway, So might as well just go with it. And or two more times after safety car. But I know Chaotic had a different strat. He pitted, I think on lap 6 or something like that. He ran softs. So it's always a challenge running a tire worse than everybody else, and they're making up time in the turns and trying to catch up to them. And I was doing my best on mediums. I was running still good on mediums, but it makes it difficult trying to pass people when they're on a better compound and are able to cover their turns a lot better.
What did you do your fastest lap on mediums?
No, that was on softs, dude.
Oh, okay.
If I did a 2024 on mediums, hang it up. But I ran a 2039 on mediums. I did do that, but I did do the 2024 on softs, and I've never pulled that time before. Like my best was that 2029 or whatever in during qualifying. But yeah, yesterday that was uh, everything and maybe I juked myself into it all happening and jinxed myself, but I practiced a decent amount for this race because I knew it was going to be a pain in the ass. I knew the car was going to be unstable. And I really worked on a lot of those sectors, especially coming down the mountain. I was very strong going up the mountain, but coming down, just making sure that I was able to brake at the precise times to not spin out. And I found so many different areas to spin out in yesterday. And I think it was because of positioning of my car. And what I typically do when I have the time is I practice racing off the driving line. And I was so focused on not screwing this up that I didn't do that here. And I think that's what kind of ended me. It's because there was a lot of times my car was out of position, what I was familiar with, either trying to get a better line of sight or just angle on somebody. And I was in uncharted territories outside of my normal track limit. And dude, I spun out in so many random spots coming down that I've never spun out in before. And I think it's just because I didn't focus on those areas on that part of the track is what
Well,
really
I
screwed
will
me.
say at night in the beginning, coming down the mountain when the restarts and when you're nose to tail, that was so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't see anything but the guy in front of you. His tail lights would light up and you go into a panic.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to get down, just get down the mountain. It was just so chaotic, and it happened over and over and over again. It was like, please. And finally, when the sun came up, it got a little bit easier because you could at least have some depth perception of where you were going. At night, it was like being on a roller coaster in the dark. You couldn't see where you were next headed. You're just following the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I tagged probably four different walls in areas I've never tagged before. I freaking wrecked coming into the pits. I hit one of the curbs, and I'd done it. I'd practiced it. I hit one of the curbs, turned the whole car sideways. I just ended up in the tires. I literally had to reverse, come in, and then guess what? 3-second penalty. So I had 2 3-second penalties. I had multiple interactions with other cars and walls, and it was a rough day.
That pit
Um,
road is brutal, though. I
dude,
mean,
yes.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah, unnecessary.
It is
unnecessarily.
unnecessary. Yeah. It's like someone owns that little plot of like a 2 foot by 2 foot square that they were like, I'm not selling it. And they're like, well, screw it. We'll just go around you. Like
Right.
that's little Keebler elf house is sitting on that little plot of land. It's the dumbest thing ever. Saito, you helped us out with that race, right?
Yeah, yeah, I was filming it. That's what you
Right.
mean, right?
You did a fantastic job filming it. Like
Thanks.
I love how you find the different camera spots that hold and you just sit there and you toggle just right where the camera doesn't move, but the cars fly by, which PD ruins that for us, but you've seemed to somehow navigate through that. What did you see? I know you're really focused on angles and everything like that, and capturing a lot of those things. You captured one great video of me and Glovis going down the back straight side by side. That was
Mhm.
really cool. You jumped into my cockpit. Um,
Yeah,
that was really cool. You also caught me hitting the wall a couple times, which I appreciate you for that. I'm gonna send
I,
you
I try
another
to get
link.
away from like wrecks. I do. I'm like nobody wants to watch NASCAR. Otherwise, we'd all be playing a NASCAR game.
Yeah,
It's like so if somebody wrecks, I'm like nobody wants to see it. Just move. Um, but Bathurst, it was harder, and I don't know if that's more people were wrecking or it was just it's it's hard to like you say like find those angles like in the dark. And then you just kind of want to like the cockpit view was more because I was like, I can't see anything. This like, and you go into cockpit view and you'd be like, everything it would go like horror movie mode, and like
Yeah.
walls jumping out of the dark and stuff. So it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, we definitely appreciate recording all that. What have you, any feedback or anything you've noticed or a theme over the whole course of the season as you've been recording? Like anything stand out as like just an exciting race or anything like that?
Um, like Bathurst was a lot of fun. Bathurst was a lot of fun. Just because again, it was like that. A bunch of people have said it now. The roller coaster vibe of it. And then in the dark, like it made the cockpit views a lot more interesting. It was fun. It was a fun one to film. I thought I would be bored doing Monza because I was like I don't have a problem with Monza. I just like there's no elevation changes. It's just kind of and that one I feel like had the hold angles the best. Like there are spots where you can't even see the little camera wobble to move to the next car. As far as themes, I don't know. Every one of them has just kind of felt different, and I don't try to like spectate or watch a replay or anything before. And I feel like that shows in like the first 10 minutes of the stream. It's like me finding things or whatever. But every single one of them has been like a different little mini challenge to try to film. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate it because it's given us just different insight to so many different things as how people drive and whatnot. And then just the audience, the GR4 guys being able to watch it while we're racing, and Silo's over here practicing next to me, and I hear them chuckling or talking crap about us. And yeah, so it's really brought a sense of family together.
Nice. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's more fun than I thought it would be to film it.
Yeah,
I
well,
like it a lot.
it has been great. We appreciate that. It's fun to go back and look at it, and it's some, I don't know where everyone's rig is set up, but I've got to go into upstairs and I got to go bother Silo, so it's hard for me to go watch replays where it's on YouTube. Just lay in bed and just kind of catch some of it. So it's really cool. But yeah.
Well, since we've got GT3 and GT4 drivers here, let's just put it all together. And Saito, tell us what was tell us about your experience on at Bathurst.
I had like a bit of a funky week, so I didn't practice as much as I should. And I kind of, when the schedule came out, I looked at Bathurst and I was like, and there's my drop race. And so then I didn't get to practice it. And like the day before, I actually was like surprisingly like I was feeling good. I was like, okay, well, it's slow, but I'm not hitting walls. Like I feel like I'm actually on a good track or whatever. And I get on, and before the sun even comes up, like I had spent maybe an hour and a half before getting on track, didn't spin, didn't hit a wall, perfect race, right? Was swapping compounds and just felt great. Before the sun even comes up, I go to crest the hill, just touch grass ever so slightly, and just start to spin. And I just completely let off. And when it became very apparent that letting off and trying to correct wasn't going to be enough, I went over Mike, I'm out of control, and just started going and going. And then I start to kind of slow down, and I look at my radar, and Jar just hits the front of me, like trying to avoid me, but I'm like sideways moving, and it just gets the spin going again. And yeah, it was, I think, like in just time lost, if nothing else, the worst accident I've ever had in the league. Because I feel like I was spinning for 20 years.
I had, yeah, same thing happened to me, but in turn 2 of the first lap, and you start losing control, and that's it. And then the track is so narrow that like I got caught kind of like oh, what was it? The movie where he's got the golf cart wedged in between the walls.
Austin Powers.
Austin
Yeah,
Powers.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that, and I was like, I'm directly pointed at the wall. I was like, back up, go forward, back up. Okay, let's go. I was like, well, there's the race. It's over.
No,
I think
I don't understand Bathurst because like it's not the walls that bother me. I like the Tokyo Expressway. Like I can avoid a wall. It's Bathurst. It's like so narrow. It's a nerve-wracking one. I felt that Bathurst in the dark was way more of a challenge than Autopolis with rain.
I agree.
Oh,
I disagree. The topless in the rain was very difficult in the car that I was in.
fair.
Yeah. And don't forget, we're going to Nürburgring in the dark as well. So
Right. I'm feeling okay about
you
Nuremberg
got
ring,
real high
honestly.
pitch there. I don't know how confident you are in saying that.
Eh,
I don't know you well, but you got a little high pitch there.
I mean, I'm about as confident as I think I can be in the Peugeot.
Okay.
So,
What do you
yeah.
think of the Peugeot?
um, I the way that we picked the car is that Sully came out with a spreadsheet and weighted all of our like opinions on the car based on the feedback that we had given him and how important he thought that we were as individuals. And it was like the
Where
nerdiest
did you
thing in the
fall on
world.
his weight scale? I got to know that.
He weighted me higher than him. And he weighted me like the same as Chaotica. And I was like, what have you been smoking, man? That doesn't make any sense. And he would not back down off of it. Um, so then when we ranked cars, I ranked the Peugeot really high because I had such an awful time last season in the Supra, and I was still feeling really new on the wheel. And if there's one thing that you can say about that car, it's it. I find it to be like really easy to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy the way it handles. I like the way it feels on wheel. I feel very consistent in it. It's slow and it eats tires. And this doesn't matter, but it's ugly as sin.
Yeah, it is pretty
yeah, it
ugly.
is.
It
It's,
is
it's a
ugly.
gross little car.
Was that your team's first pick of a car?
No, no. I think the first one was kind of like the moonshot, if I'm remembering right. It's like the moonshot of if nobody picks the rent.
Okay.
So we wanted to get into the game. I mean, from the beginning was like I want to get into the Alfa Romeo, and that obviously was not
Yeah.
going to happen at our car picks.
Right.
So, but tested it anyway. Just I don't know to feel bad about it later. I
Yeah,
guess
right.
right. Um,
So, what was your strategy for this race?
um, I we so the Peugeot eats tires like really bad. Like every time you comment about like the Lambo, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that 100%. Sully was only getting 5 or 6. In a few of the tests that I did, I was able to get 10 somehow, which I'm now feeling is like some sort of like glitch in the lobby because
Mm-hmm.
there's no way.
Yeah.
Um, so we wanted to come out on softs in the dark to just try to give the car a little bit of the speed that it's lacking, without just resigning ourselves to mediums immediately. And then with the later safety car, it was kind of like try to position ourselves well because then we were going to pit right after or right on safety car, excuse me, and then hopefully just go because the gas tank on the thing isn't all that bad. It's not the best of the group right now, but it's not terrible. And if you play with it right, you don't have to use the fuel mapping or anything. And you can get some pretty decent fuel savings. So the idea was to go was to start as quick as we can, position ourselves well, because the pit lane is not that long time wise, and
Right.
then come out and just coast.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would have worked too had I not wrecked before the safety car. I feel like I probably would have been a little higher, just because the positioning beforehand for this race seemed to matter more than it
Yeah.
has before. So
Yeah. This is one of the tracks that you want to be up front because it's so difficult to pass.
mhm, yeah. So I felt like I was in a good spot. Probably could have held on to that. I think I ended up in the spot that I ended up after the wreck. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
I went to eighth and then I stayed. I think I kind of traded back and forth once or twice, but just kind of stayed in eighth. And I was weirdly alone for a lot of that race. I feel like it was just like me on the highway for a lot of it. And I'd look up at the mini map and there'd be groups, and then I'd just be in between. I don't know.
I'll say this: Group 4 was faster than we anticipated. At least in my group, we expected 25 laps, and a decent amount of the group did 26. Inevitably, that screwed our whole strategy. Deeds was out in front on lap 25 and would have taken the win. That's what our strategy was, and that extra lap really did him in. He had a pit on the last lap, which set him back a little bit. So it is what it is. You know, I felt bad because he popped right out at the right time, and I was like, oh, it's gonna work. And then I
Right.
started doing the math. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna work. That sucks. So
Yeah.
we were not
Yeah, it was
anticipating.
crazy that it split. I can't remember that ever happening actually, and having like a half and half on like one lap and then the other.
Yeah, it was just I don't know where the extra lap came from. Just everyone running quicker in a group, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a faster safety car than just the 60 mph. Maybe they were doing 65 to 70. Not blaming safety car. Just, it's one of those variables that can sometimes play into it. So
Yeah.
it
Well, I
hurt
was
us.
driving the safety car.
Well, then
It
there it
was
is. It was
Not
65. So I was
blaming,
trying to
not
hold
blaming
65.
you.
definitely. I forgot you were driving it. It was definitely the safety car's fault as to why we did not take the win at Bathurst in GR4.
I'm not saying
Deeds
that.
Mercury. I'll send you his address. Uh, so Saito, who do you typically? I heard you say Anatole. Is there anyone else that you typically find yourself racing around or most competitive with?
I feel pretty competitive with Sully. Obviously we've been on the same team or whatever, but like, I'm help each other out, practice together. I still want to beat him or whatever. And he always does tend to seem right there. He's not as much this season, very much hates the Peugeot. I think he thinks a little less of me for putting it high up in the ranking and sticking
I
us with
mean,
it.
he
Um,
the weight of you though. I mean, that's kind of on him.
right. Um, let's see. This season I feel gosh. Um, this season I feel like I've been around Lalo a decent bit, but
Yeah.
then Lalo's always ending up ahead.
Okay.
I spend like it's not like Anatol where I feel like we're constantly like nearby each other throughout the race or whatever, but I do spend a decent chunk of time around him. Um I was fighting Thrasher on the way down the mountain in the last two laps at Bathurst to try to keep on to my seventh. Um I had a blown tire and I very clearly like was on like a slower compound and
Hmm.
was just trying really hard and like almost got it and then he pulled off like the second to last turn and was able to finally get around me. And I heard him muttering on the mic too, like trying to get around me. Um, so I've seen him a few times too this season. Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, Mark, you want to run us over the leaderboards?
Yeah. So starting with GT3, we have. Do you want to do the finishing order first? Usually you
Yeah, let's do the
go ahead.
finishing order.
Yeah. Well, okay. You go ahead and do the finishing
Yeah,
order.
let me do it. So as to not you have to like gloat for yourself. Let me pour some more tequila. Hold on, where is my bottle? No, just kidding. All right, so Merck finished first, who also did not practice much. He wants everyone to know he didn't practice and still won. He had no strategy going into it. He wants everyone to know he had no strategy and no practice
I
and
did
still
have a
won.
strategy. It failed, but in a good way.
This is my story. Back out. So Merck won, took first. Glovis took second, which super proud of Glovis. He and I were kind of messaging back and forth today, and he's really starting to mature. The more he's starting to find his patience and his groove. He and I kind of raced a couple different times throughout the race, and he would back out of situations instead of forcing a very inopportune try to pass or slow us down. And he would just back out and get right back behind me again. And then we'd start going, and then he'd find another spot. And he eventually got around me. But you can see his maturity coming through, and he's starting to kind of tick up a little bit higher and higher. Zen and his consistency, he took third. We got Cam in fourth place, Katika in fifth with the Peugeot. We got Dirksey in sixth, Preston in seventh. I took eighth. Besso dropped down because of a IR. Badrock took 10th place. Berman in 11th. Our new driver for GR3 is Komakopa, who lives in Ohio as well and is from France. And then Floody took 13th. And we had a no-show for Tex. He had some personal stuff going on, and we hope everything's going well with Tex after this race.
Yes.
So good job, Merck.
So thank you. So on the leaderboard, where we're at, points are remaining pretty close. There's a couple ties in here. Leading right now is still Zen. He is still number one with 59 points. I am right behind him with 58.
That's close.
That is close. So St. Croix is going to be well, both of them, St. Croix and Nürburgring, are going to be very important. Third is Glovis with 47. Currently, his teammate fourth is Besso with 44. 41 for Dirksey, my teammate. And then sixth is Floody with 38. Tied with Floody is Cam with also 38. Only a
That's
few
an
points.
interesting dynamic
I
between the two
know
of
it's
them.
gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be interesting there too. Eighth is yourself, Junkai with 36. And then there's a tie again for ninth and 10th with Chaotica and Preston, both with 34 points. And then just above relegation is Berman with 29. Below relegation at the current time is Bad Rock Jones with 25, Texas Speed with 18, and Comacopa, our new driver, with 3. So that's where GT3 is setting currently with 2 races to go. Again, St. Croix coming up, and then rounding out, then there'll be Nürburgring Endurance as the final. That'll be a hell of a final too, by the way. The final race. So Junkai, talk to us about the finishing order of GT4.
So Group 4, Huge Jar took first, Hyphy Honda took second, Arcane took third. Rue, who put on a hell of a show, had fastest lap, if I remember right. He did. Had fastest for qualifying as well. Honestly thought we were going to be high 213s, 214s, and he put up a very great time split on that. Deeds took fifth, Anatole in sixth, Thrasher in seventh, Saito in eighth after Thrasher passed you, as you so eloquently described to us. Sully right behind you, so you can sit there and gloat. Text them later on. Again,
Always.
just shot the podcast. They know you lost to me, sucker. Devin in 10th, Lalo 11th, Silo in 12th. He was actually surprised for not being last this time. Silo was. He got passed by Devin and Lalo on the last lap, and he was so pissed. Akira Sky in 13th, and Golden. We're glad you're back, regardless of where you finished in 14th. We hope that you're feeling a little better. We know you got to knock some of that dust off, but it was glad to see you back out there and racing. So
I told him that in our team chat. I was like, glad to have you back, man. You picked a hell of a one to come back on.
yeah.
That's a tough one.
It is, but it was good to see a full field, and again, just him out there back on the track and enjoying it was good to see. So
Yes.
I was really happy to have Golden back.
So on the leaderboard for GT4, so Hyphy Honda setting at number 1 with 76 points. Huge Jar with 69 points. Yeah. And T Deeds with third place with 59 points. So
Nice.
those 3 drivers are sitting above the promotion line currently. So 2 races to go there. So that could change up a little bit, but we shall see. Fourth is Rutaz. Interestingly enough, Rutaz has had 2 fastest laps. Junkai, you're the only other driver that's had 2 fastest laps this season. All the others have been different drivers. Rutaz at 42. Anatole is at 5th with 36. Saito just behind Anatole. Again, he said earlier he found himself just behind Anatole. And here
Always.
35 points, 1 point off. So,
Always.
1 point behind Saito. In 7th is Thrasher with 34. Lalo in 8th with 32. Arcane with 30 points. Sully in 10th with 28. Kuroskai in 11th with 22. Devin with 21. Silo is 13th with 12 points, and Golden Oracle with 3. So that is GT4's leaderboard where it stands. And should we talk about teams?
Go.
Team, again, that's pretty much been the lead for quite some time now, if not the whole season, maybe. Team Alfa Romeo with 173, quite a number to be.
Yeah, they
They
nobody's
got it.
tracking them down
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
that's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Um, Second is Team Jaguar with 135. Now it gets pretty close now
Yeah.
because third is Team Chevrolet with 133, Team Ferrari with 132, Team Lamborghini with 107, Peugeot with 103, and Renault with 93.
I have no idea how we're still in fifth. No offense, Peugeot. I don't know.
Yeah.
None taken.
But well, here's the thing. At least you have this going for you. You wanted the Renault, and they're worse than you are as a team.
Huh.
I didn't say that.
Sorry, Floody. Floody never commented on the last podcast when I was talking junk to him with him driving in his car. So he deserves that comment, actually.
Fair.
Yeah. Alpha has this pretty much locked up as long as their people show up, all of them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could have 3 drop for the next 2 races and they'd be fine. But otherwise, yeah, Jag and Chevy and Ferrari, that's close. That's close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think any of our previous seasons has ever seen points, drivers and manufacturers as close as this season has been.
yeah. Yeah. Jar's been doing well in that. So, all right. We have one last bit of responsibility on our end.
Are we going
Right.
to talk about the thumbnail, which we know that they've been wondering exactly
yeah.
what it is?
Right.
They've been this whole time, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be discussion on the live stream when they're watching it. They'll be discussing back and forth. What is this thumbnail?
Well, it's going to be the next safety car, right? That's the F1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it is. So
Yeah.
there it is. Okay, so moving
Okay.
right along.
Yeah,
moving right
because
along.
we just want to make safety car more interesting for the guy that's driving it, and it's
Yeah,
like now he's keeping it under.
Exactly. Dude, that'd be tough. You'd have to run it in like 6th gear just to
Right.
maintain 60 to 70. But yeah, no, explain it, Saito. Why do we have an F1 car?
So there's been talk about adding another series and doing something in the in the weeknights for people. After dinner kind of deal, whatever. So we've decided that we're going to do a F1 series and we're going to try it out. It's Everything's going to come down the pipe in a little bit. Full schedule, not going to disclose any tracks. We'll say that it is going to be a 40-minute race after a 10-minute qualifier. It's going to run basically the whole month of August. We're going to do every Thursday night in August at 8 o'clock. And, you'll pick between the 2023, Honda, Toyota, whatever. Gonna work on making it feel as much of a regular F1 race. There's gonna be some pit stop stuff to mess with and everything, so it should be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that. And if I'm home, I'm in because I love some F1 cars.
Yeah, I don't know what possessed me to sign up for this because I can't drive them. But but I've been doing that time trial and took some of your advice and I've just kind of been practicing. So hopefully by August 1st is the first race. It's going to be August 1st. I will be good enough not to kill anybody.
August 8th.
August 8th?
Wasn't it 8th? Didn't you have brother-in-law coming in, anniversary, birthday, something like that?
I guess we'll have to check, and I just might have talked out of the side of my mouth.
That's fine. That's fine. I think it's the 8th. Yeah, I think it's the 8th.
All right. Sometime in the near future.
That is accurate.
It's coming. We promise. We promise it's coming.
Yeah, I think that's been a want for a long time. Everyone, I don't want to say everyone. There's some people that do not care for that style of car. Besso comes to mind that he does not care for that style of car. I prefer the precise speed of those. So it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It will be a lot of fun, I think. And it'll add different dynamic. We've done GT racing as the main competitive league, so it'll be good to have F1 cars as another
Yeah, we've done it in Sunday Cup a couple times. You know, we've done it for fun night. We did the
endurance.
endurance race.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's been an endurance race in them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And no.
That was brutal.
That was brutal. So also upcoming is we mentioned within the GT league, next GT race will be St. Croix, followed by Nürburgring as our season end race. But also coming up next weekend is all about GR86 because we have the Sunday Cup, which is a GR86 championship occurring, and the races will be at Laguna Seca, Autopolis, and Suzuka. And then we follow that up with another GR86 league race. So plenty of practice for the GR86. We didn't really plan that very well, did we? It's just two GR86 races for the whole
No,
day.
but then after that, we have the Billy Bob race, which
Yes.
nobody really figured out the reference, which it was only because I was watching Varsity Blues when it came on. And Billy Bob says, when he's in the strip club, he says 10. He's like, it's a 10. It's a 10. Do you remember that? Does anybody remember that? Okay. So all the cars chosen for the Billy Bob are V10 vehicles. So everything is a V10 car. But I didn't put you on long, lengthy car tracks to kind of let the all 10 cylinders do their thing. They're short tracks. So
Yeah, we noticed.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. You're welcome. I will try and join for that one. I will try and join for that one. So we'll see. But
what car are you driving? If you join, that you're going to try.
I
Which
mean,
one?
obviously the Lambo. Why screw up everything? I might as well just make my life a living hell. I'm getting in the Lambo.
All right.
Why
And
the hell not?
The Billy Bob series, for those not familiar, are V10 cars, as Junkai said, and they will
Yep.
be on, yes, short courses. Red Bull short course, which we haven't done in a long time.
Yeah, that's why I chose that.
Catalunya National,
Yeah,
and
never
then
done that.
Goodwood.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Terrible.
Oh, it'll be a
V10s
good
on
time.
Goodwood?
I mean, hey, hey, it's celebrating what just happened with the festival and all that. Yeah, we'll be fine. It'll
Right.
be good. And then, so we also have fun night coming up in a couple weeks. Preston out of nowhere comes up with like, hey guys, I want to drink some beer and do some go-karting. You guys want in? And now we had 9 people show up this past Friday. So that's starting to stick too. So I mean, the content's getting good. I struggled with the carts at Grand Valley. I never should have voted for Grand Valley. Um, that was difficult. I didn't know any of the rules. I didn't pay attention to any of it, and then come in to find out that everyone's got boost and everything. And it was 30 minutes. Like I did not come prepared for a 30-minute go-kart. And I think it was you who pointed it out. You're like, or was it you or somebody else who pointed it out, Merc?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, we're racing this for 30 minutes, and I looked up and there was 27 minutes left. I'm like, oh my God. Well, is it bad form if I just quit?
Well, I noticed I was like, what I'd wrecked or something, and I didn't even realize that boost was on. And so I was like, well, hell, there goes my race. I mean, you can't catch up in a go-kart if you're behind.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much longer is left in this race? And I look up and it's like 27 minutes or something. I was like, we're gonna be here for 30 minutes. I was like, that's not gonna... And then they were like, oh, there's boost, and then you catch right up, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of laughter. I kind of needed that. It was a rough week. So we appreciate Preston you putting the time in to put that together, and we're getting a good turnout on it. So yeah, that's worked well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I actually do the beer carts on a wheel because I was told I was crazy for doing so. And I get where everybody's coming from. And
You
it's
feeling that Logitech shake at all?
yeah, oh yeah, the whole desk rattles.
Sounds like popcorn going off in there.
Like, who's making Jiffy Pop in the other room? What's going
Yeah.
on? Yeah,
Right.
it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, Saito, we appreciate you hopping on. We appreciate you kind of taking the reins on the F1. Saito is going to be the one obviously hosting F1 for most of this series. Is there anything you want to impose on us? Any questions? Anything you want to just leave us behind with?
Can't think of anything. No,
Cool.
put me on the spot.
That's all good. Just keep beating Sully and you'll be fine.
There you go. And maybe Anatol 2 or 3 more times, right?
Yeah, it's only 1 point. You gotta you're close.
I'm
That is
coming.
close.
I'm coming, and I'm gonna fail still, but I'll be there in the rear view.
Oh yeah.
Yay, Peugeot. All right,
Yeah.
thanks,
Well,
guys.
we appreciate you making your year, man. You've been a great asset, and we enjoyed you having you on the mod team and kind of helping us out on the back end as well. Look forward to so many more opportunities to kind of get you know a little bit better, share some beers, apparently,
Yeah,
get you out on the track a little bit more. So that's gonna be great. So we appreciate it.
that's what's up. Yeah, guys, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for joining us on this episode. We will see you after St. Croix for the next episode, and we'll see where things are before we head into the finals. Good night, everybody.
Later. Their driveway is permeable, so it accepts all the water. Like it's just insane how crazy this place is. Yeah, that's how this one is. Like I said, it's called Mexican cake, and it's got like that stout, sweet lactose, but with that hint of spice. Some years a little spicier than others. We did a vertical of it from 2015 to 2023, I think.
A vertical?
So vertical is where you save every year and then you drink them in order. So we started at 2015 and we
Oh,
shared it, right? Then 2016, 17, 18, and just progressed with how you do it. Sometimes you start at the newest one and work your way back. That's usually what we do. But yeah, it's called a vertical.
it's like a symphony, and each movement in the symphony is based on a planet. And at
Okay.
the time the symphony was written, there were only like 7 discovered. So each beer is like a planet. And so
Okay.
they've got a Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn.
Yeah.